We are at number 3. That smile is for, maybe that was a little short. That's always for the thumbnail, though. And number 3 of the podcast is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I hope that's how you say their last name. Published March 17th of 2020. Overall impressions, quite good. Very nice, feel good family story, if you could call it that. Overall, I think I'll give it a 4.5 with a margin of error of 0.1, of course. And we do have a system now that I'm still working on, but of course, everything comes and goes. So now I'm going to try and do a short synopsis of the novel just to help myself as well as others see if they, will like it or not. Middle-aged man, maybe not fed up with life, doesn't know he's fed up with life, works in this government office where he goes to orphanages for magical youth. And he goes on this one particular assignment to this island in the Cerulean Sea with a very strange and what many perceive to be troublesome cast of children. And from there, if I don't remember the rest, then it wasn't that great of a book. But of course, I don't really like to spoil things either, because I believe everybody should have the chance to read these without getting spoiled at all. Also, I'm sorry about the my face lighting up and stuff. That's the wallpaper. There we go. That should be better. And then next, we're going to move on to my overall impressions. Pretty good. Pretty dang good. I'd say so, personally. It obviously deals with children, and I'm always very I feel a lot, especially since I'm the oldest of 10 now, I think. So that always gets to me quite a bit. But TJ does an excellent job of dealing with the children and giving each of them their own personalities. Anytime someone is talking, you always know who it's going to be. And that's very hard to do. Not a lot of authors can get that done, but each of the kids have their own personalities that shines oh so bright, and it's incredible. As for the adults, I think Arthur is a really great caretaker, and his relationship with Linus is also very nice. It's very nicely not melded, weaved. We'll go with weaved in with the story. It's not big or anything like that, because it's not a romance novel. It's just a part of life. It's just popping one's bubble and being exposed to what life really could offer, what so much more life could offer. And of course we do get into some dark topics, not anything too terribly, I guess, but these children are, they do switch from orphanages to orphanages sometimes, and some caretakers aren't the greatest. But once again, TJ handles that with ease, does a really nice job of not only making you feel for the characters, but also making you aware that stuff like this does happen, not only in this novel, but also in real life as well. And before I get on to that, just once again, I don't know, I know the lighting isn't the greatest. I have an orange light, and it's not great. But I like it. I love it. So now on to the what I saw through, I guess, reality, real, what's it called? Did I write it down? Maybe I wrote it down. Yeah, lots of ties to like what they're making in the novel to how our systems work now. There's a lot of systemic oppression in this novel, although it doesn't specifically talk about that really. It's there. It's always there, but it's more so like in the background. And same thing now, really. Until recently, or not until recently anyways, past like 5 years, I'd say so. Dang, it's already 2022. yeah, past 5 years about. Once again, does a really great job of like, when you read this novel and you're aware of stuff outside of the novel, you're aware of what happens to other people in the US and abroad, you can really be like, holy crap, like this. Like, not only does this happen to children, but this happens to like everybody who isn't at the very tip top, And so looking out for that and writing about that is something that I quite like and I really cherish. And thank you, TJ. One thing that I didn't like, I suppose, maybe, I don't know, I didn't really find myself not liking anything as much, honestly. The humor, one thing about the humor was quite good. And for all of the bigots that were in the novel that hated on the children, they would constantly stumble over themselves. They would constantly make themselves look like fools. And I think that's really great, the way that TJ did that, because that's exactly what they do in real life. Because their hatred is unfounded. It's cruel. There's no place for it. And anytime they do, they just get shut down. It's so stupid. But the way the novel does it is incredible. I like to have at least one complaint generally, for a novel like this. But maybe, see, this is why I maybe should write out my thoughts before I start the podcast and not just go directly into it as soon as I finish the novel. I can always put it in the description below or something like that. But yeah, definitely if you're like, if anything with kids like hits your heart, you won't like cry with this novel, but you'll definitely be like little teary-eyed, I suppose. Wow, really? Did I like everything about this novel? I'd say, oh, maybe this is just because I'm 21 and I'm not past my prime and I'm not working a dead-end job. But Linus, the main character, the inspector for the government agency, got a little annoying at times in like the first half, just because I would be like, oh, what are you doing? Like, that's not how you're supposed to be. But eventually he turns out a-okay, in the end, in my opinion anyways. I think he makes the right call for sure. So yeah, solid 4.5. I really hope we don't have anything lower than like a 3.5 on this podcast, on this show, because that means that I basically hated it. Like I said, I think I rate most things higher than other people would. But nonetheless, still a fantastic novel, and I can't wait to see what they write in the future. Yeah, we have hit 10 minutes, which I always try to hit, even though, most of that time should be spent talking. I think I got there for the most part. But next book is, I have no idea, but I'm currently reading. So let me tell you what I'm reading so far. I'm reading the Iliad in preparation for 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. So both of those will be coming up within the soon future, maybe like the next month or two. Next novel, though, is, I have no idea. Someone will choose that for me, I assume. And yeah, be on the lookout for the 4th podcast, hopefully within the next 7 days. So yeah, thank you so much. Goodbye.